Hai, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nurhanis binti Muhammad Azhari.
And my name is Nur Izra binti Mahfud. So today we want to make a persuasive speech which is about
Beauty standard in Malaysia. Beauty standard. The pressure on human to be a beauty in today's society has changed. It hasn't disappeared. In fact, it's grown larger and more diverse. It's changed from being voluptuous and curvy to skinny to curvy again. It seems as if one can never look the way society want them to look, and it has if you also have a be certain kind of curvy or certain kind of skinny to meet the standard set by tabloids, social media, and so on. People spend so much of their time spending to look a certain way, spending hours applying makeup and getting plastic surgery. What they are even trying to look anyways? A version of themselves that leave them unrecognizable but somehow barely scrape the bottom of the barrier full of unrealistic expectations. And how will they reflect on all those still little girls out there who look up their favorite celebrity and see how fake they look? Those four little girls' head will be filled with misconception of natural beauty and will think the only way to beauty is to get the plastic surgery, which is basically having a doctor shape your face or body just so other people will like you. Can people just appreciate the diversity of different bodies types? There's different face shapes, skin tone, and their hair texture. That is what you make you beautiful. Yes, being insecure causes feeling of self-doubt and unwillingness to go out in public just because you think you're ugly. It makes you feel not want to take a selfie with your friends. It makes you hide behind the mask of makeup. It makes you feel lonely and undesired by all of society, and all you want to do is scroll into the hole and lie there. Yeah, a lot of people have felt that way. I have too. But guess what? I got over it. You can't just lie in the self-pity and self-doubt your whole life. There are people out there with a bigger problem and their insecurity with their appearance. If they had this feeling and spent all their time focusing on them, then how they able to get over the drug addictions? Or get the job that they really need? Or pay their rent that month? You see, focusing on yourself and how you look isn't something you should be doing the whole day. Beauty, as they say, is in the eyes of beholder. Those who mind don't matter, and those who matter don't mind. A quote from the Persuasive, a very wise man. Society today define beauty especially through music. Turn on the radio, hear a song that will make you blush from the head to toes. All about the girl's body, which is unappropriate for a song. Those songs are meaningless and full of lyric that make some, maybe not at all, women and teens want a body that is like the one being described. Not everyone would admit it, but deep down, a little piece of everyone's insecurity cookies is baking, growing larger in the oven. That is the standard set by society. That cookie get larger when the song like that are here. To get off the security cookies, just like any other cookies, you have to eat it. Eat away all those standards until they're not longer easy. Turn the oven of today's society off, and eventually have pressure will decrease and you will be happier. Of course, beauty standard will never go away. They will always be there, but it's your job to slowly kill them off one by one. Starting with the one that most affect you and those you care about. Stop caring about them and worship them. Warrior of social justice and disrupt the standard of beauty set by today's society.
effect standard beauty in Malaysia. Standardized concept in terms of outer appearance is what we call beauty standards. Beauty standards started as a tool to select the best person in the beauty pageant all around the world. For example, girls whose size are 32, 28, 34, with particular skin tone, particular thickness of hair, and height more than 5/5 is an ideal requirement to join modeling or any other beauty pageant. The reason of coming up with the idea is to make the process of selection easier. Moreover, one important reason behind this is to introduce and promote cosmetics by these models or maybe the winner. This also happened because we're being served by social media, such as influencers, who need to look perfect and pretty and makes them be loved so much by many people. I'm not obese, but according to Malaysian beauty standard, I must be skinny. You might heard that many said men lose interest on wives because females are no longer attractive after their marriage. This is one of the overgeneralization that contributes to judge young females with their weight. I like to experiment with my body. Sometimes I work with it to get more chubby, and sometimes I do lose weight. But many girls out there are suffering from overweight because of genes. I often see some parents feed more to their skinny child and don't feed their chubby kid in many restaurants. It is abuse. Emotionally, a child gets disturbed. Pregnant ladies don't eat much because they're afraid that their baby will be overweight. Come on, it is self-starving. Little did we know that the concept in this beauty standard in Malaysia lead to the negative effect on that person itself. The belief in standard beauty also can lead to anxiety and depression, and this happen because they believe if they're not pretty enough, they cannot be being a good enough. This is so sad because in Malaysia, they are still believe that be pretty is also can seems as perfect enough. As example, women that cannot wear a makeup become feel so insecure with people who wear a makeup and trying so hard to learn how to wear a makeup, so they feel equal to all the pretty women. Even though the makeup idea is not every woman can particularly wear it, and not every woman like it, but to look so much better and stand equal with all the pretty women, they need to wear it. Women often compare themselves to image of other women in the media, and that is comparison is often upwards, leaving the viewer feeling lacking. This also can affect the man too. We all like to watch television, but there are so many commercial shows and movies out there that can make us feel that we are not attractive or thin like the models and actors or actresses. Some consequences of thin ideal include lowered self-esteem, increased depression, excessive dieting, and eating disorders. The current standards of beauty are dangerously unattainable, especially in terms of thinness, because the gap between realistic expectations and the ideal continues to grow larger. Because this ideal is portrayed in so many forms of media, many women accept it as their own ideals and internalize the disappointment they feel with their own body because of it. While the ideal of thinness is not a new concept, traditionally encouraged by family members and peer groups. The pervasive reach of mass media means that this ideal is transmitted on a far larger scale than ever before. Everyone deals differently with the pressure to match society's standards of beauty and health, and it is actually not healthy at all. Some will develop eating disorders such as anorexia nervosa, bulimia nervosa, and binge eating disorder. Eating disorders involve intense emotion, attitudes, and behaviors surrounding weight and food issues. Eating disorders are serious emotional and physical problems that can have life-threatening consequences for both females and males. We are here to let you know that if you or a loved one suffer from an eating disorder, you are not alone. Anorexia nervosa, often simply called anorexia, is an eating disorder characterized by an abnormally low body weight and intense fear of gaining weight and a distorted perception of weight. People with anorexia place a high value on controlling their weight and shapes, using extreme efforts that tend to significantly interfere with their lives. Anorexia isn't really about food. It's an extremely unhealthy and sometimes life-threatening way to try to cope with emotional problems. When you have anorexia, you often equate thinness with self-worth. The exact cause of anorexia is unknown. As with many diseases, it is probably a combination of biological, psychological, and environmental factors. Psychological. Some people with anorexia may have obsessive compulsive personality traits that make it easier to stick to strict diets and forgo food despite being hungry. They may have an extreme drive for perfectionism, which causes them to think they are never thin enough, and they may have high levels of anxiety and engage in restrictive eating to reduce it. Environmental. Modern culture emphasizes thinness. Success and worth are often equated with being thin. Peer pressure may help fuel and desire to be thin, particularly among young girls. To understand more, you all can watch one Western movie called To the Bone, which is the movie is showing about a woman who is suffering anorexia. I really recommend you all to watch it. In the conclusions, everyone has their own beauty either inside or outside themselves. The feeling that they need to fulfill the meaning of a beauty standard is not very necessary. What is beauty? Beauty is come from the heart and inside when we always act kind, good, and sincere with all of our action to others. One important thing that we need to put into ourselves is we need to love ourselves first. When we intend in being love ourselves, we can be confident with our looking proside of our body, skin, and face. Don't pretend to be beautiful when we are beautiful from the start. Believe in yourself and you can surpass all the image that media, social, and television trying to show us. That's all from me. Thank you.